Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 horror film Digging to Death, a film that is written and directed by Michael P. Blevins, and it stars Ford Austin, Tom Fitzpatrick and Rachel Allig. Now this tells the tale of David, a guy who's going through a divorce, and he essentially moves into a new house. Needs a lot of work doing to it. He's supported by his daughter Jessica. He works for, I think it's a gaming company, where he makes video games, things like that. And he's trying to settle into this new house. He needs to put a septic tank into the garden. So when he starts digging up the garden to start doing this, he makes a gruesome discovery. He finds a corpse buried in his garden and a stack of money, a couple of $1 million. This leads him down a moral path that, generally speaking, doesn't do him any favours. Right, what are my thoughts on Digging to Death? Well, it's okay, this film, actually. It's actually pretty watchable. Decent budget. Good performances by everybody here. Solid performances, especially from Ford Austin, who plays, a man at the beginning of the film who's trying to settle into his new life. Obviously a bit disappointed with the divorce and this kind of stuff. He's still got a good relationship with his daughter. Makes this gruesome discovery, and then from that point on, his character kind of spirals. In regards to the things that are happening to him, his moral decisions, but also the fact that this body that's buried in the garden is not particularly happy with him, running off with all the cash and things like that. So the real genius part of the film really is it suggests one thing's happening, but it could be something else. It could be all really mental health issues, and he could be imagining all these things that he's seeing, walking corpses, all these other things. It could be associated with that, and it essentially it becomes a fractured man, a poisoned man. His mind's poisoned by the end of the film, and you see him making some very bad decisions by the close of the film. So it's an interesting ride to see this character spiral completely out of control as the film progresses on. So it's quite a nice character study at the same time. I actually thought, about halfway through, because it was starting to drag a little bit, I actually thought this would have been a brilliant story for like an anthology film, like a 15-20 minute story for an anthology film, like a cautionary tale. I thought it would be perfect for that. It did actually feel like a short film that's been stretched out longer than it needed to. I mean, I think it's an hour and a half, just over. And there's definitely more than a few points in the film where the film starts dragging a little bit, starts getting a little bit dull, which is unfortunate because I really enjoyed the concept here. And it's also, you could class this film as a very, very dark comedy as well. I mean, there are moments in this film that actually made me giggle. The situations he was getting himself in. And I'm not sure, it's not listed as a comedy, certainly on IMDb, but it felt like there was very dark comedy elements here. And it reminded me of that Danny Boyle film many years ago, one of his first films, Shallow Grave. This has got more supernatural elements to that. The Shallow Grave is more of a thriller than this, but a similar kind of concept and idea. So there was much here that I did quite enjoy. It just dragged a little bit, and there was a couple of moments where I thought they could have turned a screw a little bit in regards to the horror, given us a little bit more on the horror side of it. But I did like their approach to storytelling, in a sense of, I like a film sometimes to you know, kind of leave it open for me to decide what really is going on here, you know what I mean? And it could be explained in more than one way, which again I really appreciated. I thought the effects were good, for the most part, and like I say, I was really impressed with the performances, particularly from Ford Austin. He had a lot to do with his character, and he did it effortlessly, really. You know, he also had a friend, Ken Hudson Campbell, who you may actually recognise. It's the first thing I've seen him in since it, but he was in Armageddon, you know, the Bruce Willis film back in the day. He's in this film. I haven't seen him, like I say, I haven't seen him in anything. He plays like his best friend. They've got a couple of scenes together and things like that. But, like I say, some of the scenes, it felt like they were just there for filler. As much as it was nice seeing Ken Hudson Campbell in the film, a lot of his scenes didn't need to be in it, really, you know what I mean? They could have cut some of the scenes down to make the film a little bit shorter. I think they could have cut a good 15 minutes out of this film to probably make it move along a little bit faster, and make it a little bit more digestible to watch. But it's actually okay, this film. It's better than I expected it to be. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. An interesting concept, good performances, some nice effects, some, you know, I was about to say horrific kills, but well, I suppose they are, you know what I mean, quite comedic at times as well, the film. So yeah, that is my review for Digging to Death. An interesting one to give it a watch if you guys get the opportunity. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more reviews on Screen Stars very soon.